Okay. Good evening. Welcome one more time for another session in, in the bootcamp on foundations of Forex and commodities trading. That bootcamp includes 10 courses. We are about to start the second one, but before we do, I have decided to prepare a prelude to that course. It's because typically, as for any bootcamp, the materials could be intense. So, to the best of my ability, I will try to create specials. Specials are edition outside of the course that provide either an introduction or more context to a special course. So before we even do the online trading course, I'm doing that prelude to explain it better. This is Levi Alexandre. And also, I'd like to add one more point is that I have been battling a very heavy cold since Thursday night, and usually it doesn't stay with me that long, but for some reason this one was pretty determined. It looks like it was a special one. Um, came came in as a bulldozer. I don't know if I got COVID or something, but it was heavy. And the body aches was also interesting. So even when I did the video on Saturday, it was really a stretch for me because even today I wasn't really my best all day, but I wanted to answer the call, so I am here tonight. And I said, since um, I don't want the students to have nothing at all, so it's best we do the prelude. But it also works for the bootcamp because the topic itself is a very heavy one. I think it's best to kind of have an introduction, help you gain a vision of what I want to present on the prelude and during the online for the online trading that is, so everyone has a broad idea of what that class is about. At least you will get the main concept. So, of course, as always, I like to do a disclaimer shortly, and after the disclaimer, talk about it will be an opening statement, and then a quick reminder of things I would expect you to know that I want you to remember, and then I will talk about the online trading itself, which is basically the most important tool of any trader today because I'm talking about retail trader, even institutional trader, because nowadays on many markets, if not almost every market, trading are happening now electronically, and almost nobody is really on the trading floor. These days seems to be over on a very large scale, especially for commodities. For forex, you don't even have that anyway. So, and crypto, you never had that. So even on the stock market, a lot of the chunk of the trades, especially for retail trader, it's really basically online. So online trading is the core knowledge or of a trader, what you should know and you should know and understand well. So it's important. And then the key takeaways, we will talk about that as far as the presentation of tonight. And the disclaimer, I've made it before. It's as you can see it on the screen. And if you need to have a copy, I can also send it to you, or you can email me info@noacademy.com and we will email you a copy. It's a disclaimer that's basically define your position, our position in this presentation, and what we are doing, what we are not doing. For the opening statement, I just like to welcome you to our bootcamp, and if you are seeing this for the first time, we'd like you to know this is a bootcamp, not just a simple course. It's a combination of 10 courses. We've completed one, which is the Introduction to Financial Markets. You still have 9 courses to complete. And they all are combined to provide you a foundations on commodities and forex trading. This is a very serious undertaking because there are people who take years before they learn these things. So to do it under one bootcamp within a month or few weeks or couple of months, whichever speed you go by, it's good to keep in mind that you also need to be very proactive. You need to understand it's going to be a lot to learn, a lot to take in. So don't take it lightly and go according to your best pace. Don't rush things, but understand that all these new information, they might be critical in ways they play a big role in your success or failure. So you might want to be very attentive to the informations as you take them in. So you will learn all the basics of commodities trading over 10 courses. The word to highlight here is basics, because you're not going to become an expert, but you will have the foundations. So this is an all-inclusive program when it comes to that, in the sense that it covers all commodities trading when it comes to core trading like futures, options, and also there's something else we call swap. We will also cover that. Then forex and cryptocurrency, we will mainly devote our attention to BTC, but that will give you the idea for everything else. We will also do some specials, and those specials will be on general theme like we did Saturday. We spoke about the how we test, how do they measure whether, how does the government of America try to rule or regulate cryptocurrency using existing laws, whether it's securities laws or commodities law. So far, they don't have a cryptocurrency law yet. So they are using extension of other laws to try to apply them to cryptocurrency. So that's a very interesting dynamic. So we've gone over some general ideas by using the how we test story Saturdays, and you should see a video on the class already. But today's presentation is not exactly the online, but a special prelude. What it means is that I'm not covering online trading yet, but I'm giving you an idea of what it will be. Okay, for quick reminders, just remember that as a bootcamp, it's not going to be just one way to get you successful. You have to also, as I said, be engaged. And we have 3 different level of users so far. We've seen the general public, verified students, and registered attendees. Okay, so if you are a verified student, here is what it means. It means that sometime around January, around December, up to recently, you've gone to our website and you've verified your identification. You've done that. You don't have to do much except to create a username, a new username and password, because we have reset your username and password. So you have to create one if you haven't over the past 2 weeks, we have reset everybody's username and password. But if you have, good for you. You have already started the class. Everything is good. So you get access to all the courses anyway and quizzes. But if you are registered for the bootcamp, which is an additional access, it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 access. We've gone over this in the previous class, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. And then, of course, for the format of the class, we expect it to be very interactive. As you can, you will begin to see there will be quizzes posted, um, live examples, practice, and discussion. We will also provide different formats. Most of the time, we will create videos, but some other times we will just post documents and slides and articles that are different than your actual video, like the one you're watching right now. So we we choose a format based on the course. It's a 100% online, and then you find it at academy.com or on social media. As far as the quizzes are concerned, there is no grading for the quiz if you're not registered with the bootcamp. If you are registered with the bootcamp, even if you don't have any grading for the quiz, but you want to remember the assignments are graded and the final exam is graded, it's self-paced. Even if it's self-paced for all other students, if you are registered with the bootcamp, we will still look at your attendance, not to judge you, but to support you. Meaning, if you are paying for the product, we want to know that you are doing the right way, you are doing the right thing to benefit from the product you paid for. So we will watch to see if you have any attendance issue. And then if you do, we will reach out to see how we can help you access the course properly. That is for the paid bootcamp participants. So we will monitor your participation. And of course, exam and assessments are measured and they are done online. So now speaking of the module for tonight, which is the prelude to um, the online trading, the first point I'd like to make is this course will not cover a very important part that we are assuming that you already have. But if you don't have it, we we will try our best, but the course does not have the mandate to cover it. We will try our best to accommodate it. Is that we are expecting you to know how to use a keyboard, how to use a computer to at least operate those basic functions of trading. Unless you can, unless you can do that, it might be a little challenging for you. So at least you need to be able to operate a computer at a basic level where you can open it, you can get online, you can press different basic functions, enter, erase, typing different financial informations to do math, basic financial math functions to enter orders. These are things that are just basic, very basic expectation. For instance, um, here is what we want really teach you how to do. For example, here is a platform I am using for a Bybit I'm using, and I would like to place an order. In a course, I would normally say we are entering an order. We are going to type 1845. We are going to take $1,844 order. Okay, I want to take an order for $1,845, and I'm going to enter that order. I'm erasing it. To erase it, I had to um, know where to find on my keyboard to erase that. So these are not things I'm teaching you, and I'm going to enter it, and I know exactly where in the keyboard I go to get to get those numbers. So things like that, it's kind of hard, if not impossible even. Is another thing. I just increased the um, I just zoomed into the definition of the screen just so we can see some clearer what I'm doing, right? So I make it resolution is 200 times more. I knew I needed to go to those three dots to change the resolution. That's what I'm saying. These are functions that has to do with using a computer and not trading. So these are things we are assuming that you know to even take the class. Okay, back to our presentation. Before you fully understand the online trading, there will be some very basic topic you need to understand in order for you to understand trading. It's online trading itself. One thing you might want to know is what is trading? Because if we say online trading, there must be a meaning to trading, and you will be right because that is a very important term that will involve a lot of other terms. For example, money. Because what are you trading? You're going to find out that we're trading something called financial assets or financial instruments, and then you go like, okay, now that didn't help me much. What is a financial instrument? That's gonna be all right because you first need to know what is money first before you understand financial instrument. The reason for it is because by nature of money, the way that money is defined, the way that it's been used over time, and it evolved during a different life mutation as society, as a society from ancient to modern society, and the way we have accommodate the money with technology, all that plays a role in defining what money is and by extension what instruments is. Instruments being a legal formatting of the same thing. Therefore, you're going to need to go back to history to understand what happened. So what I can tell you today, before we even get into the class, which we will this week, I can tell you that money has not been the same at all time. First, we started with something called bartering, bartering, where we would barter, meaning we would basically exchange values and see what happened, right? So, for example, if I have rice and you have beans and I need beans, you need rice, I give you my beans, you give me your rice, and we're happy. We make that exchange. Then we started using medium. At that point, we started using any medium we thought that was a common value that everybody could agree with. At that time, we started calling, well, historians are calling this period a period where you would use something called commodity money. That's where the first term commodity was really related to financial um, instrument or anything of not financial instrument, but let's say the concept of financial market, right? And commodity money is anything that we can find that if everybody can agree with is a good has a good universal appeal. For instance, they used to have a very good, nice stones that everybody thought that were pretty and beautiful. Everybody would count those stones, and those stones would have a certain value. And if I don't have what you need, I could still give you the stone. It would be similar. And then it evolved into becoming more of a standardized piece of something that everybody could count now as units, more standardized, more precise. And then we call it metal money. You think of coins, you think of Roman era, and those pieces that you've seen in the Bible. These are things, if you are paying attention, you will see that that has been pretty much usually connected with a certain era of history. And then after we've done the metal ones, from metal we went into the gold standard and what have you. Then we started with paper money, where to travel with those metal, they pose two grave problems. The first is logistic. The second is simply um, the fact that it could actually um, deteriorate over time, and paper became a little easier to transfer, to carry, to exchange. As you can see, I'm gonna be using the word exchange a lot. And for your trading life, you will also be using that word exchange a lot too. Then as history evolved, we stopped using metal money as the only way. And then we started using little notes that we would create, a system that we would create that allows you to still use my money or somebody else's money, or pay later, or pay tomorrow, pay next year for the same amount, or maybe amount with interest. But instead of paying you, I won't pay now, I would pay in another 3 months. So I didn't need money anymore, because I only needed to promise something, either signing it or give you my word for it. And that became a contract. And that form of contract is called credit. And credit now started to establish a new form of money, because the credit pay allowed the transaction to happen. So we started to talk about credit money. And then nowadays we talk about plastic money, those credit cards that we just use, or debit card that we use, and next thing you know, we are buying or transferring money and do all kind of transactions with our cards. So what you can take away from everything I just explained to you is that money is simply a medium for exchange, along with a few other things that it does. I'll go over in our next course. But as a medium, it doesn't find its value in its physicality, but it finds its value in its relevance, in terms of what kind of um, things it's transferring, meaning what kind of capital it's transferring between whom to whom. And based on that transfer, then it finds a market appeal or market relevance. Therefore, whether it's a plastic, whether it's an actual metal piece of metal or what have you, money is something that everybody, as long as everybody can agree on as something that's good to facilitate an exchange of value between two people, then it becomes so. Except there's also the legality aspect to it that we will also cover in the course, uh, such as fiat money, if you heard of that. If not, it's okay. We will teach you more detailed uh, instruction on that part, then you will soon realize that the government did step in at some point, and they have established a control over how money is used in society, because money becomes so important and critical that it could transfer the whole value of the country out of the country if the government was not very mindful of that. I'm talking about the economy itself. It could affect the economy one way or the other very quickly, very rapidly. That's why government creates central banks. They create other agencies, funds, and what have you to manipulate or control the circulation of money. Because money is basically a medium to transfer value. So they need to know how much is coming in or how much is going out, inputs and outputs. And money allows you to control that. Now, what is instrument then? Instrument is the legal paper that puts all that in perspective in a way that the law can say, okay, so and so has such obligations, so and so has such rights. It's an obligation or rights to something that is expressed in monetary value. Monetary value again takes us back to money. Money meaning something that has a nominal value in terms of what it can pay for at any given time in an economy, in any given economy, right? There, that's your money. Your money is that measure of affordability, or that measure of how much you can afford or pay for. That amount that you can pay for is measured by the money. The money gives you measuring units that tell you here's how much you can pay with that and that, right? And then the instruments create a certain contract between two parties that give them rights to a certain amount of money, one way or another. And they come in so many different ways. And before you know it, paper money now become instrument because it's a legal tender. It's a debt, a tender that can pay a debt or others settle anything. Before you know it, there are so many other instruments that are created, whether it's going to be cash or non-cash. Then you have different categories of instruments that are created inside of an economy or in a financial market. So the instrument is basically the way we are structuring our paperwork or understanding, and instrumentation, meaning how we are harmonizing what we understand and who has right to write. So that definition of access or right is the instrument. And then the instrument now could be created by someone or between two people. It could be offered, it could be traded, it could be modified, it could be terminated because it's a contract. Now that I am hoping that everybody understand the definition, how do we go from money to instrument? Money is basically the amount of units that gives you an idea how much you can pay for whatever, and the instrument becomes more that legal agreement between the parties as far as who has access to XYZ money. Then we need to talk about trading and investing. Well, trading and investing is the exchange that takes place in the for those between the owners of those instruments, as far as who had the what and now has what. So as we exchange those values and we exchange those rights, then we create a trade. However, when we buy it and hold it and wait for the time to discover hidden values or to reveal more values or to show more values, and those values are converted into profit, then we become an investor. A trader is someone who is just looking at the fluctuation in pricing at any given time without paying too much attention to the value itself. But now you want to know what's the price, what's the value, how is it different? Because they are both determined by money. Money being the unit, the measuring unit of what you will pay for or not, right? So if a value is $100,000 and the price is $1,000, well, then the confusion is, why is the price different than the value? And these are things that we will go over in one course by itself to for you to understand the real difference between the trading and investing. But the long story short version that you should keep in mind for now is that trading concerns itself is a short entry and out position where you come in and see how the price fluctuate um, during any given time. And investing is more like you're holding it for a very long time, usually up to 10 years or even 20 years or 30 years sometimes. And then you wait after time to make a to make a profit. So, but a trading, on the other hand, would happen a lot of time instantly. For example, you could trade something in less than a minute. You could even lose or make money in less than a minute. Let me show you how I would do that right now as a trader. I would just take a trade now. Let me do this one instead. That might be more fun. Let me look for my okay. Here is this is a regular trading, and I want to take a trade, let's say for just 1 minute. Because I'm taking a small trade, I put on a small time frame as well. Okay, this is the Australian dollar versus US dollar, and I want to make money. I do some analysis quickly. I look at my bars and I say, you know what? Okay, this thing looks like it's gonna go up. Maybe I will be right. If I'm not, then that's okay. I'll lose some money, but not a lot of money. So I'm gonna take it, make it a smaller amount, a smaller volume, 2 instead of 3, and then I'm gonna buy it now and wish me luck. And I may actually lose money. I'm only giving myself a few more seconds, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least we tried. All right. In what? In 30 seconds, instead of making money, I lost money, and I lost 42 cents, less than a dollar. Nobody's crying over 46 cents, 48 cents. It's no big deal. That's how fast you could either make money or lose money within second. That's the question. That's the takeaway. Same thing could have happened here. Um, yeah, it could vary. Okay, so now for the core concept, as a trader, we want to show you as an online trader, we're going to teach you what all the different things you do will affect you one way or another, making money or losing money. And then the instrument is going to be about all the different instruments. There are three major instruments that we will cover during that course. That is the core commodities, the second is the Forex, and the third is crypto, but mainly BTC. Because we are covering these three instruments, and that is what the bootcamp is about anyway, each of those instruments will require a different type of approach online. Because of that reason, we will divide these into three, and then you will have an idea of how each of them works, so you can try them out as well. For instance, if you are trading Forex, there are certain terminologies that you will find that you will not find for crypto or even commodities. For instance, if you are trading options, the way that you're looking at a call or put is not the same way you look at a Forex order. Although you might be tempted to think that if you go long, you go short, it's the same thing, but in option is slightly different and slightly more complicated than that. So the online course covers all those nuances, so you can see how all three of them are different. It's not gonna be the core training that you need on all these kind of trading, because that would be a whole different type of courses for each of them, but you will kind of get an introduction to help you get started. And the exchange is also um, for commodities and cryptos, they use different exchanges. Forex do not have exchanges. So we will go over those and understand the key differences. For example, for what I call it, um, for Forex, mostly once you know what broker you use, you're done. But for commodities, it's based on what you are trading, whether you are interested in oil, whether you're interested in gold, whether you're interested in um, indexes, um, mostly um, if you're interested in a lot of the futures products, that there will be a different kind of exchange that will be more specialized for that if you're using soft or hard commodities. Same with crypto. If you are using cryptos are divided into two really, the decentralized and centralized exchange. And then if you are in the US, there will be different considerations. And if you are in New York, there will be two type of consideration. First, you are in the US. Second, you are in New York State. For those two reasons, there will be special laws that apply to you. These kind of stuffs. And then brokers as well. The broker that can help you with Forex does not necessarily qualify for commodities, for futures, because for futures they need a different license than Forex. So it's good to know the differences. And brokers in the US for crypto as well, it's becoming a very murky water, so you want to be careful on that one, actually very careful. And then for trading platform, of course, it, as you can see, it's kind of like a flow. The first is you, the traders, and then it depends on what you are trading, instruments, meaning what you're trading, whether it's forex, commodities, or cryptos. It defines what kind of exchanges you're going to be dealing with. And based on the exchanges, it defines what kind of broker license or kind of brokers categories that is involved with these exchanges. And because of those brokers, then they will be selecting different trading platform or style. For example, the MT4 is widely accepted, but if you are trading commodities, you will need an MT5 mainly instead of MT4. And then if you are trading crypto, I have my crypto set up on my MT4, but not a lot of people know how to do that. Like the same thing that you've seen here on my screen for the crypto here, it's also set up on my MT4 as well. But that's not how it always works. I have it somewhere. Well, I have it set up somewhere. It must. It's somewhere. Anyway, yeah. So it's the same way that you see it. That's the same way it will show on my screen. That's a convenience. However, I cannot do that for commodities. I would need the broker that I use would want to have an MT5, which will look almost the same, except that you want to download the MT5 as much as the MT4. So it's these are the little details that you will need to learn, and I will go over. That's for the trading platform. So what do you want to take away from what I taught tonight is this: be proactive. Don't just sit and wait. Google some of the things that I have covered and then bring your own perspective as well in terms of learning and then reasoning and also um, perspective. Also, use the quizzes that we post. I'm gonna be posting a quiz for everybody tomorrow about the presentation tonight to get you ready. So use those quiz every time and practice the knowledge to test how much you really know. There will be some other assessment if you are a member, if you are registered with the bootcamp yourself. That means you've paid for that one. There will be assessment as well. Make sure you turn them in. So, well, they are done online anyway. Make sure you complete them so that way I can correct, review them for you and then grade them for you. That will give you some feedbacks to see how you are doing. These are super, super, super important because they are checking things out for you to make sure you got it right and you're on the right track. One thing I know for sure is no matter how much I teach you, if you don't study, well, the agreement is broken. It's a two-way street. Here's the way I like to see it. It's this way. Let me show it to you. I'd like to see it this way. If you guys remember that slide, we have a partnership, right? I'm doing the teaching. My job is really one part, but you have 8 parts. You have to learn, you have to practice and perfecting, you have to apply self-control, you have to be disciplined, you have to take risk, you have to develop a thick skin, you have to develop the mentality of never giving up, and you have to develop a system and stick to it. So it's not going to be a magic wand where I come and provide a list of things. Once you heard it, you know everything. You have to do the studying as well. And then group interaction is magical. There's no substitute for social interaction when it comes to growth. You want to be part of forums, groups, discussions, so you can not only confirm your knowledge, but also gain from other people's perspective. We will have additional resources every now and then. For example, tonight is really an additional sidebar. I would say it's special. It's not the actual course because I'm not well. I haven't been well for the past 3 to 4 since Thursday night. So that's not the course. But even if I was well, I still would want to post some additional content. So those additional resources, make sure you use them, okay? Now, speaking of additional, I call them specials. And I believe they are as important as the main one. The first thing they do, they provide you additional context because the course will never really be enough. So sometime I'll do them after the course, sometime I'll do them if before the course. And they also provide you with in-depth knowledge. So no matter how much you think you know, there will be some way I bring you into a deeper level with these kind of specials. So it's good to keep up with them. And then also during those specials, that's when I also make important updates and announcement on things you need to keep in mind and what have you. The last part, which is something I want you to think about, is the fact that this is a true sequential track. What I mean by sequential is this. I think you've realized it yourself as well, is that it's a building block. You won't get to understand the core concepts unless you understand the money. Let me see if I could use a little bit of help here. It's like you cannot understand the core concept unless you first check off the first one, which is money. Because you won't understand, we're talking about online trading. If you don't know what you're trading, and then you're really trading money, you're just trading money in the form of a legal contract, meaning an instrument, and that instrument engage you in a financial transaction that involves money. Again, you need to check that box off so you understand what you are doing, which is money. You're dealing with money. You first need to know what money is, if that makes sense. And then before you trade anything, you need to turn it into an instrument, which is a contract, an investment contract, or maybe a contract that represent a monetary value. Then what is monetary value? Well, money, value of money, right? Cool. But how do we understand an instrument? What is an instrument? What is not an instrument? We need to cover this, and then you would check that check too. Then whether you are trading or investing, you need to make up your mind and you need to understand what is trading and what is investing. Check number 3. Then you will be ready for check 4, which is to understand online trading. So it's really a building block. And if you skip money, instrument, and trading and investment, and you try to quickly get into core concept of online trading, you kind of like um, going through the step without understanding them, and that's only going to hurt you in the process instead of helping you. So my true belief is that it should be done in sequence. That's why I'm adopting this approach. I hope I made it a little clearer this one for everyone. Okay. How was it, folks? And I hope you enjoyed the course. I will be back tomorrow night for the course of online trading. And then Wednesday, you will get um, the two courses. You will get the the third one, which is about signing up for brokers and set up your platforms. And then there will be the next one, which will be course number 4. I'm catching up because, as I've said, I wasn't well, but I still wanted to show up even if I wasn't okay, because there wasn't any excuse that would stop me from coming. So I'll see you all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. And I hope everybody have a great evening. And I'm gonna stop the recording now. If anyone has any question, I'll take a couple of questions and I'll leave it at that point, at this level. All right, I just stopped the recording. Anybody has any question, feel free to ask.